Hey team, Steven here. Excited to talk a little bit about some of our weekly coaching meetings that will kick off the first week of school. So stoked to get into those with you. I really enjoyed spending time doing our first coaching meetings with everybody so far, and I'll finish those off today. So excited to get into now a little bit more of a weekly cadence. If you scroll down past some of this first meeting stuff, you could see here that this is our weekly coaching meeting. So what I'm going to do, and you'll see this on your end too, I will take all of the work that we did in our first coaching meeting, and that is going to be brought down here to the bottom. And now at the top, you will see your weekly coaching meetings. So each time we have a weekly coaching meeting, you will see the date here. So I meet with Chris sometime next week. We'll put a make-believe date here. And before that meeting, there's going to be a little bit of pre-work that both you and I will need to do to make sure that we really use our time wisely and efficiently in these meetings. So you could see here for our social emotional well-being check-in, there is no pre-work that you need to complete. You could tell that because there's nothing in bold that says teacher pre-work, and there's nothing in bold that says coach pre-work. Scrolling down into the next piece here, and this really formatted a little bit funky just because of the paste. But anyway, for the lesson plan, there are some areas here that you'll need to submit some pre-work, so that way I can do my pre-work as well. So the links to wherever your plans are for this week, and if you look at Chris's example here, he has already linked his entire folder. So all he would need to do is just link the week-specific folder or the week-specific lesson template that he's using. So you would link that right here, just copy and paste the link. Next, you would type in here the objective that you are trying to accomplish that week, and it could be obviously more than one objective if you're attacking multiple objectives for that week. And then lastly is the standard or standards that you are addressing that week. So those are the three pieces of pre-work in the lesson plan portion. Once those are in, I will go ahead and give some glows and grows for the plans for that week. Lesson plans will be due on Friday of each week. So every Friday, you'll submit the lesson plans, just these three things here, for what you are doing for the upcoming week. Over the weekend or Friday afternoon, I will go in and complete this for you so you have this going into the week. This piece here, these are obviously observations. I'll throw the date in here after I observe you. This is all pre-work for me that I will just fill in glows, grows, and social emotional learning standouts that I really want to stamp when I see those happening in your class. Scrolling down into some of our equity focus section of our weekly coaching document, there is this teacher pre-work box where you are being asked, how can you continue to push to a liberate space with this week's lessons? So thinking about pushing students to a liberate space, and that's this portion of this graph here, where liberate is you are offering high support and you are also providing high challenge to our students, thus creating a culture of empowerment and opportunity. So some pre-work here is just typing your ideas around what you plan to do to get kids to that liberate space for the upcoming week. A couple more pre-work pieces. There's a question here about accommodations for our exceptional learners. There's a question towards intentionally planning towards anti-racist teaching. And there's just a real check here, a yes or no. Have all UDL, and UDL as a reminder is Universal Design for Learning, Have all UDL expectations been met? And you could really here just say yes or no. For the data portion of our meeting, this piece is really optional. If you decide that you want to input some of this prior to the meeting, fantastic. But we will obviously here, where there's not pre-work required, spend most of our time kind of going through this together. So again, if you want to jump in here beforehand and for data source, maybe say, it's a mastery check, and then you could paste in some of the student work into this box or a link to the student work into this box. And then finally, action items. So each week we will leave the meeting with you having some action items and more than likely with me having action items as well. What we would do is just paste those action items from the previous week here, and you would highlight them based on their progress. So let's say an action item for Chris was keep being awesome, jam out in your new house that you just bought. Congrats, Chris. A little special shout out for you there. Chris did this obviously because he's going to keep being awesome. So he would highlight it and he would color code it green because it is done. If he had not yet jammed out completely, but he had started the process, it would be yellow. And if he had not started yet, it would be red. So that is what we'll do for each of the action items. We'll usually leave with a few action items after each meeting. And that is about it for our weekly coaching meetings. One other flag that I just want to show you, monthly, one of our coaching meetings will be spent with you giving me feedback on the coaching for that month or for the month prior. So we will talk a little bit more about this as we get a little bit closer to it, but be ready. Once a month, you'll be giving me a bunch of feedback and I'll be trying to get better for all of you. All right, have a great day.